Hey YouTube, Farmer G here. I am in the greenhouse. I'm going to do some work on the aquaponics system. There are some things going on in here that need to be addressed. Now, what's happening here, you see right here, I've got an air stone here and I've got an air stone here. I've got two air stones. Now when I originally put these air stones in, I had them separated so that I had one here, one there, one there, one there, one there. I had them spaced apart pretty evenly. I had 6 of them in here so that I can get air going to like pretty much every corner of the system in here. Now I removed these two raft beds right here, these two little sections, so that we can see what's going on here. We've got all these lines, they're floating. Now after a while, what happens is these air stones, they're doing what they do and they kind of move around underneath the bed and find the place where they're happy to be, not where I want them to be. And as a result, it creates kind of some dead zones. So you can see like over here, there's 0 bubbles going on over there. I've got like 0 bubbles going on over here. And it's not good for the plants. It's not good for the bacteria that's going on in here. Because I mean, ultimately, we're just playing a game with bacteria. That's basically what aquaponics boils down to. And you know, I have this here piece of kale. This kale has been growing in the system for like over a year. And I put it right under some air for the last couple of days and it's cleaned up pretty well. But like a week ago, this thing was just caked in sludge and dirty and just looked really nasty. So the air does a tremendous amount of work for the plant. It's just vital that the air is where it needs to be. So last video I made, I was talking about how I had some aphids in the system and I just was relentless. I was no mercy. I saw aphids, I got rid of plants. So all my plants are outside. The system doesn't have anything going on in it. And you know, this is the 4th system I've made, and each time I get better, I get smarter. Ultimately though, the issues I'm having with this system is my filtration. It's just not big enough for what's going on here. So I'm kind of on a schedule of like every 8 or 9 months or so, I kind of need to do a water change. Ultimately, in a perfect world, we all know we don't live in a perfect world, but in a perfect world, I would not be changing water in this thing ever. I would just be adding water. But the way this thing kind of is working, I need to do a bit of a water change every few months just because it gets overwhelmed. So I'm at that point where I need to do water change. I've got an algae bloom going, so I'm kind of trying to hope to get the algae a little bit under control, get the sludge that's in here out of there, give it a good cleaning, and get these air stones where I want them. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to drain all this out, clean all my raft beds off, and I'm going to get these PVC pipes here. I'm going to cut sections of them, and then I'm going to run these air lines through the PVC, hoping that the PVC will weight it down and keep everything where I want it to be. So that's where I'm at this moment. This is a blow and go job today. I got to get this done and I got to get it done fast. This is draining. I'm just sending all the water out into the pasture. This, I got a sump pump in there, draining that out. When it gets kind of towards the end, I'll take what I can from there and I'll put it inside here. This is my mineralization tank. I got an air stone going in this, a bunch of nasty fish water, and I use that kind of as a fertilizer, nutrient supplement for the plants so they get good fish water. But anyway, this is getting cleaned out, that's getting cleaned out. Then I'll clean out my sump tank and then I'll start taking care of these lines. Okay, we've got the filter cleaned out. I have got the sump tank cleaned out, and no more guessing on what's going on over here. We've got a air stone right there, we've got one right here, and then the other 4 are all clustered up over here in this corner. So because a lot of the system wasn't getting sufficient air. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they all moved to that corner. A lot of movement once you put the raft beds on and you can't see what's going on. Those things move around quite a bit. Because I mean, I had one here, I had one there. I mean, that's a long way to move. Okay, I had to step away for a while. You can tell the water's kind of cloudy. I clean this all out, put in fresh water there, put in fresh water in the sump tank. But then once I turned the pump on and it got everything circulating, you can tell the fish tank was still pretty cloudy, and it's kind of circulated in, and this is cloudy at this point. But it's still a major improvement. I will keep the filter clean over the next couple of days. I'll get this really cleaned up here at this point. However, the thing that I'm most concerned about though was these air stones. They have moved a little bit over the last couple of hours, I've noticed, but still they far less than it was. And the biggest improvement that's really going to help me out here is by adding these PVC pieces. I can weight down these air lines. So from point A to where the air stones are, these lines were floating, and then my roots were like grabbing onto them. By having these PVC pieces in there, I can kind of put an air line underneath it, and that piece of PVC will hold down the loose part of the air line that's going to the next one. So that in and of itself is a big improvement. At this point, I'm going to get these rafts cleaned up, and I'll get this system kind of back up and running. But for all intents and purposes of this video, I'm going to call it quits. And anyway, this is still, could be a little bit better, but there's still a major improvement from where it was. So anyway, always improving the system. Thanks for hanging with me. If you made it this far, guys. Farmer G out. Late.